We as a society right now happen to be alive at this massive inflection point for our planet, perhaps one of the most significant moments in recorded human history. We've witnessed our species develop technology and industrialized capabilities that were unimaginable just a few hundred years ago. But we're also able to witness and be part of arguably one of the most important transitions as we move to a world that runs without the need for fossil fuels. I grew up a massive car enthusiast and loved everything about cars, the way they felt, the idea of driving them, the freedom they afforded. As I got older, I realized that these things I loved so much that were so critical for our progress as society were simultaneously the root of the impact they're having on our climate and the role that they're playing in the recarbonization of our atmosphere. Our atmosphere looks the way it does today as a result of many, many, many millions of years of carbon being captured, sequestered from the atmosphere into largely plants and to a much lesser degree animals, and buried in the crust of the earth and ultimately converting into fossil fuels, coal, natural gas, petroleum. And our society in just a few generations has taken what accumulated over hundreds of millions of years and reinserted that CO2 back into the atmosphere by burning these fossil fuels in just over 150 years. And the difference in timescales is staggering. We're at the very beginning of seeing the impacts of that. We're seeing it in the form of much higher temperatures on the surface of the Earth. We're seeing it in the form of much more aggressive storms and weather patterns. This is still early days, but it's going to make the planet less inhabitable, not just us as a human species, but we're seeing it accelerate the rate of extinction on our planet to a level that's never before been seen. This is the moment where we have a choice. When one imagines what the history books will look like 2,000 years from now, they're going to look back and there's going to be this little blip, which is likely called the fossil fuel era. And it'll talk about a couple of hundred years of human history where we as a planet rapidly industrialized, built amazing technologies, but also developed this deep dependency on fossil fuels. And then hopefully the history books read that we developed new technologies to move off of fossil fuels before we put all of that carbon back into the atmosphere. The scale of this challenge means that we need to begin making these changes now, and we need to begin working towards ever-increasing renewable content on our grid. We need to replace the roughly 1.5 billion combustion-powered vehicles on our planet with electric vehicles, but also know that on the path to the end state, we're going to have solutions that are imperfect. But we need to start. And the exciting thing with electric vehicles is they get cleaner over time. As we remove carbon from our grid and replace it with fossil fuel-free energy, the vehicle becomes cleaner and more efficient over its life. We need to protect our only home to ensure that the gift of such a diverse and such a beautiful planet that's so unique is maintained. It's a world that we can continue to explore and to continue to enjoy for generations to come, for our kids and for their kids' kids' kids, for forever.